Marc Cucurella has gone from being that overpriced Brighton signing,
that price tag still, to be fair, astounds everybody think to this day,
to one of Chelsea's most reliable and important players.
And leading that pack, no lie, was Cucurella, because he did not give Lamine Yamal one bit of space.
Fans who once rolled their eyes at his £62 million fee are now chanting his name every week, and he's earned it. The man locks down right wingers for fun. Salah, Yamal, Dembele, it doesn't matter. They all got sent to Cucu's back pocket. He might not be the fastest or the strongest fullback, but he is going to defend with everything he's got. He's so aggressive, flies into duels, and is the ultimate rage baiter. Seriously, everybody who plays against him eventually loses their cool at some point in the 90 minutes. Then on top of helping you defensively, he can get you goals too. It's funny to think back to when people joked that his transfer was some kind of money laundering deal with Brighton because the fee was so high and his performances were so ass.
But for me, I was not happy with Cucurella right throughout that second half until he came off.
No.
I mean, when you're talking about the price tag, he can't defend.
He used to be a liability, a flop, but now he's one of those players Chelsea can't live without. So how did we get here? Well, Cucurella playing well against Barca shouldn't have come as a surprise given that he's a La Masia graduate himself. He is a Catalan kid who joined Barca's famous academy in 2012. Even back then, he hated to lose, and he played with a high level of aggression. Combine that with his crazy hair, and many people were reminded of Puyol. By 2016, while still a teenager, he was already playing for Barcelona B. He made his debut at 18, helped them win 4-0, and quickly became a part of the team that got promoted to Spain's second division. Barca clearly rated him, giving him a new deal in 2017 with a €12 million release clause. He even got a tiny taste of first-team football, coming on for a few minutes in a Copa del Rey match. It was short, but it was a reminder to him that he could play at the highest level. With Jordi Alba blocking his path to the first team, Barca loaned him to Eibar in 2018 so that he could get real La Liga minutes. It was the perfect match. Cucurella fit right in. He made his La Liga debut that September, ran all game long, and immediately impressed people. Marca even praised him after his first start, noting how well he had adapted to Eibar's physical, high-energy style. He became a regular as a left wingback and left midfielder. And then came his big moment. In the final day of the 2018-2019 season, against Barca of all teams, Cucurella scored his first La Liga goal, scoring against the club that raised him. It was a clean finish. Eibar drew 2-2, and suddenly, people were talking about him. By the end of that season, Cucurella had played 31 league games, had gotten a goal, a couple of assists, and another goal in the Copa del Rey. Eibar were so impressed that they paid €2 million to sign him permanently, but Barca weren't ready to let him go for good yet, so they bought him back for €4 million just 2 weeks later. Guy was getting passed around like Lily Phillips. They knew that he needed more minutes though, so they set up another loan move. This time it was a loan to the most terrorist organization in La Liga, Getafe. Joining Getafe in 2019 was a huge turning point for Cucurella. This wasn't a flashy club. Trust me, these guys treat football like it's WWE. But under Jose Bordalas, they had a very clear identity. They press like crazy, they fight for everything, and they make life miserable for their opponents. Cucurella, well, he fit that style perfectly. At Getafe, he mostly played as a left midfielder in a tight 4-4-2. His job was to run non-stop, press aggressively, win the ball back, and then explode in the counter. During the 2019-2020 season, he played in 37 league games, which tells you just how important he was. He even got to play in Europe for the first time, helping Getafe reach the Europa League round of 16. Not that many 21-year-olds get that much trust, but Cucurella's durability and consistency made him impossible to bench. By the next season, he added more end product to his game. He scored 3 La Liga goals, including a headed goal against Elche, where he sneaked into the box and knotted one in. What's funny is Maresca uses him in the same way now, but I'll get to that later. Over his time at Getafe, he also picked up 7 league assists, but the stats don't even fully capture what he meant to the team. He ran more, pressed harder, and worked with more intensity than almost anyone else in La Liga. Literally no other player in La Liga pressed more than Cucurella in his final season there. He recorded 771 pressures, which was around 21 per game, and he also led the league in successful pressure. That's a ridiculous work rate. Defensively, he was a menace too, ranking 7th in La Liga for tackles, plus interceptions, and also 7th for block. The guy was everywhere, snapping into duels, chasing down wingers, and constantly helping Getafe disrupt their opponents. Of course, playing like that had some drawbacks. Sometimes he was too aggressive, stepping out of shape or giving away cheap fouls. He was one of the most frequent foulers in the league. But honestly, it didn't matter because that's how Getafe plays. They loved his fire. Their whole system depended on players like him pushing the tempo, and that's why the fans adored him. Over 2 seasons, Cucurella made 85 total appearances for the club, getting 4 goals and 7 assists in La Liga. But more importantly, he established himself as a legit top-flight player. His intensity, the improvement in his game, and versatility caught a lot of people's attention. He earned a call-up for Spain's under-21s, he captained them at the 2021 under-21 Euros, and even won a silver medal at the Tokyo Olympics. So after proving himself in Spain and showing that he could dominate at a high level, the next step was very clear. A move to the Premier League was coming. Cucurella joined Brighton on deadline day in August of 2021, and it turned to be one of the best bargain signings the club had ever made. Brighton paid around 15 to 18 million pounds for him, handed him a long contract, and basically said, hey, you're our guy on the left. He made his Premier League debut just 2 weeks after arriving, helping Brighton keep a clean sheet in a 1-0 win over Brentford. A week later, he played the full match in his first home game against Leicester, and instantly won over the fans. People could see right away, this guy works hard for the team. Under Graham Potter, Cucurella played mostly as a left wing back in Brighton's fluid 3-4-3/3-5-2 system. His job was very simple, fly up the wing in attack, and sprint all the way back in defense. Luckily, that's basically what he had been doing his whole life, so the Premier League pace didn't faze him at all. He ended the season having played 35 out of 38 league games, which again tells you how quickly he became essential. He only got 1 goal and 1 assist, but both were actually quite memorable moments. His goal came against Manchester United, which was a thunderous left foot strike that had him dropping to his knees in tears. Then his assist came against Chelsea, a smart chip ball to Danny Welbeck in stoppage time. These were big contributions in big games, and the Brighton fans noticed. But numbers aside, his overall performances were really good. He was tough, smart, and just ran non-stop down that left-hand side. Premier League wingers tried testing him, but he held his own because he was aggressive, he had quick reactions, and crazy stamina. Then going forward, he stretched defenses, delivered some quality crosses, and always gave the team an outlet on the left-hand side. By the end of the 2021-2022 season, he was the standout player. In fact, fans voted him Brighton's player of the season, and his teammates chose him as the player's player of the season. Winning both in your first year in England, that's pretty impressive. He had become one of the Premier League's most exciting fullbacks, so naturally big clubs started circling. Manchester City wanted him badly, which makes sense. Pep loves technical, hard-working fullbacks. But Brighton refused to sell him for cheap, so City backed out. Chelsea, though, with their new ownership and big ambition, stepped in and paid the huge fee that Brighton wanted, an initial £56 million, rising to £63 million with add-ons. It was a massive record sale for Brighton at the time. For Cucurella, it looked like the perfect next step. Champions League football, a massive club, and even a reunion with Graham Potter, who would eventually join Chelsea a month later. But that big price tag also came with big pressure, and the next chapter of his career would put him through some of his toughest moments yet. When Cucurella arrived at Chelsea, the spotlight was immediately on him, and a big reason for that was because of his price tag. Chelsea spent a huge amount of money, and a lot of fans judged him on the fee before even watching him play. At first, he showed little glimpses of what he could bring. A solid debut at Everton, an early assist for Raheem Sterling against Leicester, and a few good games here and there. But that didn't last long. Chelsea's entire season was a mess. Tuchel got sacked in September, Potter came in, and the form was all over the place. The team looked confused half the time. With the club in general spiraling, Cucurella's confidence also dropped. Mistakes started creeping in, and because the team was losing constantly, fans needed someone to blame. Unfortunately, he became an easy target. He experienced the harshest side of Stamford Bridge very early. In a match at West Ham in February of 2023, he was subbed off after a defensive breakdown on Chelsea's left side. Some Chelsea fans sarcastically cheered his substitution, basically booing their own 24-year-old new signing. It was brutal. The narratives had already begun. Cucurella can't defend, he's a flop, what a waste of £60 million. Even in Dortmund, during a Champions League game, some traveling Chelsea supporters turned on him again.
Was it disappointing to hear him being booed by the Chelsea fans in Dortmund on Wednesday?
The criticism got so loud that Graham Potter had to publicly defend him. He reminded everyone that Pep Guardiola wanted to sign Cucurella and that top managers don't chase bad players. Internally, reportedly, people at the club knew he was dealing with off-the-field adjustments and personal issues after moving to London.
Marc Cucurella is clearly going through a really difficult time at the moment. Reports suggest that his house was broken into shortly after joining the club.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
But to the fans, all that mattered were the 90 minutes on the pitch. Even last year, there were questions about him. He slipped twice against Spurs, which led directly to goals. But instead of collapsing mentally, Cucurella pushed on. In that game specifically with new boots on, he performed better. In fact, minutes after his second slip, he set up a goal for Jadon Sancho. But just in general, he worked very hard to play once again at the highest level. His redemption actually started under Pochettino in the 2023-2024 season. He got some opportunities because of Ben Chilwell getting injured, and he really stepped up. Little by little, fans started to recognize him again. This was the Brighton version of Cucurella, the guy who was confident on the ball, sharp and dual. One of his best moments in blue actually came in March of 2024 against Leicester City in the FA Cup quarter-final.
Breezing past him, supports there, Cucurella scores! Chelsea take the early lead.
That was his first goal for Chelsea. But the true renaissance, his true transformation, came in the 2024-2025 season. Now, he came into the new season with a lot of momentum after a wonderful Euros campaign. Before that tournament, almost nobody expected him to even make Spain's squad. He had just one senior cap. But then both Gaia and Balde got injured, and suddenly Spain needed a left back. So Cucurella got the call. Fans weren't convinced, many still doubted him. Others didn't think he was good enough after his tough Chelsea spell.
What about Cucurella at fullback, Aaron? Yeah, we thought. I didn't think he'd play. He's not been convincing at Chelsea. He's played a few games towards the end of the season. He's aggressive, he's tenacious, he's a busy little fullback. That price tag still, to be fair, astounds everybody, think, to this day. But the Spanish defence, he's got a lot of experience now, obviously, but there's something just missing from Spain that makes you feel like they're going to go all the way, and I have to say that him being at left-back probably is another example of why we think that.
Cucurella didn't listen to any of that. The moment the Euros began, he grabbed the starting spot and refused to let it go. He started 6 of Spain's 7 games, including every knockout match, and instantly became a fan favorite. His energy, his overlapping runs, his aggression, everything just clicked. Spain supporters even started wearing curly cuckoo wigs in the stand. That's when you know a player has become a cult hero. Cucurella himself had joked that if Spain won the Euros, he'd dye his hair red. Suddenly, that promise started to look very real. In the quarterfinals against Germany, he played the full 120 minutes, even helping in the build-up that led to Mikel Merino's extra time winner. As I told you guys earlier, this guy's stamina is unreal. Bonnie Blue would be jealous. He looked like he could have played for another hour after the game. And then came the final, Spain vs England in Munich. And Cucurella delivered the biggest moment of his international career. He made his classic overlap run and whipped in a perfect cross to Oyarzabal, who put in the winner.
Cucurella charging down the left. He's gone the other way first to Oyarzabal. Cucurella gets it back in! Oyarzabal scores for Spain! And not long left for England to do anything about this one.
Spain were European champions. He finished the tournament with 2 assists and some fantastic defensive showings, including putting Saka in his back pocket in the final. He was named to the Euro 2024 team of the tournament, which isn't too bad for someone who barely had any caps beforehand. So going into the new season with Chelsea, his confidence was sky high. Then thanks to Maresca, his reputation has now completely changed. Depending on the opposition, he has been asked to play many different roles. We've seen Cucurella as an inverted fullback, as a left number 10, and even as a left winger. He found his best form as a box-crashing left back. Look at this game between Chelsea and Leicester in March of 2025. In possession, Marc Cucurella pushed up like a left winger, just ahead of Moises Caicedo. Cole Palmer stood in the middle, with Enzo Fernandez on one side and Nkunku on the other. Nkunku didn't stick to the sideline. He liked to play inside between the defenders, and that actually helped Chelsea, because Cucurella could stay wide or cut in. His flexibility became the key. For the winning goal, Nkunku stayed narrow and pulled Leicester's wingback James Justin inside with him. Enzo spotted the opportunity and passed the ball to the charging Cucurella. Now with Nkunku still posing a threat, Justin couldn't move to stop Cucurella. So Leicester center back Wu Faze, aka Sideshow Bob, wasn't close either. So Cucurella had time. He took a touch, looked up, and smashed the ball low into the corner past Mats Hermansen. 1-0 win, all because of a great game plan from Maresca and smart movement from Cucurella. He had done the same thing months earlier against Brentford. Same spot, just a different team. He was looking to attack the space in Brentford's defense in between the center half and the right back. When Madueke received the ball, Van de Berg moved over to Mark Jackson, which left Cucurella open. He attacked the space in the box. Then Madueke did something which I thought he was allergic to, which is pass the ball, and Cucurella headed it into the net. Do you guys think he feels anything when he heads the ball with the top of his head, considering his hair is like a mop? And then if you still somehow thought it was a fluke here, here's another example of him occupying the same space and doing it against Wolves. Maresca changed this man's life. We saw it on full display during the Club World Cup as well. He was just a beast. Then anybody that thought that the tournament was a fluke was silenced after his performance against Barca in the Champions League. He not only helped create the opening goal, but he completely locked up Yamal too. The Spanish superstar didn't do anything as Cucurella annoyed him all game. He even forced Ronald Araujo into a meltdown. Although Araujo has rocks for brains, so I don't know how much we can credit Cucurella for this. Chelsea won that game 3-0 and it felt like a full circle moment. The kid who grew up in La Masia, once doubted and written off, was dominating Barca under the Champions League lights. You guys better have had a jersey on when you watched that game. If you don't, go to buygamejerseys.com and use code PETTALKS at checkout. Right now, Cucurella is in his prime and he's become one of Chelsea's most important players. He gives them everything. Rock solid defending, non-stop energy, he's smart in the build-up play, and he's become a danger going forward. There are not many fullbacks in the Premier League who can impact the game on both ends like he does. The jokes about his transfer fee, they're long gone. The performances speak for themselves now. Chelsea clearly see how valuable he is, and his rise has been crazy when you think about it. He went from being mocked as this terrible buy to lifting trophies with the Blues. It's one of the best redemption stories in football, and he's still got years at the top ahead of him. To see another player who has gone through a similar redemption, you have to watch this video on Moises Caicedo.